Coming up today on the Nice Guys on Business.
A lot of times when you get caught into that people-pleasing thing, you're trying to avoid the conflict and you're wanting, people to feel okay, and feel good. So you avoid that. But it's almost like an oxymoron. Actually, you're hurting people more by not doing what you want and expressing that.
You look down, they know you're lying. And up, they know you don't know the truth. Don't use 7 words when 4 will do. Don't shift your weight. Look always at your mark, but don't stare. Be specific, but not memorable. Be funny, but don't make him laugh. He's got to like you, then forget you the moment you've left his side. And for God's sakes, whatever you do, don't, under any circumstances, listen to the Nice Guys on Business. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by Turnkey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
So what would a dating coach want on a business show? The bigger business of dating is huge. Romance and dating is huge. The business of romance and lasting love is even bigger. And not only is Kim Seltzer, who is today's guest, a personal friend of mine and JJ's as well, she is the shit when it comes to coaching others about the subject itself. Kim Seltzer is a therapist, certified style and confidence coach, dating coach. I need all of those things except for the dating coach side. And she's a matchmaker, helping literally thousands of people find lasting love and connection, attract success, and build valuable relationships using her technique, confidence makeover. Unique. You using your unique confidence makeover process. Kim is a regular contributor to, get this, Nice Guy community, Huffington Post, digitalromance.com, which appears in Cosmopolitan, Oprah Magazine, Redbook, Reader's Digest, AskMen, Fox News Magazine, Yahoo Shine. Is Yahoo even still around anymore, Kim?
I know. I think that's the only place we see Yahoo. Is
maybe Shine. So. And the Washington Examiner. And you can also find Kim as a frequent co-host on the podcast, The Jordan Harbinger Show. And until I read that today, I didn't realize you were the Kim from The Jordan Harbinger Show. I've heard you like a million times on there.
No way.
No, I didn't know that was you. And you've been on that show for a while, haven't you?
Well, yeah. And actually, that is what inspired me to do my own show, to be honest, because I kept going on there and people are like, you should have your own show. I'm like, yeah, I should.
Well, that would make you like the Dr. Phil of the Jordan Harbinger Show.
Oh, that's so funny.
So she is, let me see, as well as acting as the leading love expert on the traveling live dating show called The Great Love Debate and the cable reality dating show, The Romance. I can't say I've ever seen either one of those, but I'm really curious about what they are now. You can also listen to her on her own podcast now called the Charisma Quotient, and she currently is hosting the Flirt Academy workshops nationwide. Wow, that was a long intro. Sorry, Kim, I didn't mean to bore you with all of that, but it was amazing details. Welcome, Kim, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. I sometimes get bored listening to my bio playing back.
How many times have you heard that over and over again?
Well, and I always joke is like, the real reason why I got into doing what I do, I mean, that's all great what's in the bio, but it's about my own story, my own transformation, and the evolution of learning all these skills that I teach today. So that's really why I'm so passionate about doing what I do. Yeah.
All right. So I want to really begin with this question because this one is the time tested question that I have asked many, many times in my entire life. And I wrote the book called Nice Guys Finish First. And I guess the question is simply, do we?
It depends how you are defining nice. So I actually work with a lot of nice people, and nice people are really awesome, but it's actually how you define it, right? And so what I find is that a lot of people who are nice, who and the nice part is really good in terms of being a caring individual, being a good listener, having empathy. Like these are things we want, right? In a partner and to date. But where it becomes problematic is when you don't set boundaries for yourself, right? When you don't say no, when you I call it shape shifting, when you shape shift into something that others want you to see rather than be in your true authentic self. And when nice becomes in that vein, that's where it
Right.
becomes problematic. And you tend to actually attract lopsided relationships because of it, because you're putting more energy onto other people rather than yourself.
Oh, I totally see it as a way that if you get lost in being nice and you give more than you are part of the relationship, you're giving just to become a people pleaser. That's never a good, I always look at nice and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe that means things like, hey, you're doing what you're truthful, you're being genuine, you're being open and upfront, you're not playing games. All those fucking games that people play in
Ugh,
relationships,
yeah.
why is that? Why do people play games? What's the point of the games thing? Why mentally be challenged with a relationship that you just are in it to play games?
So again, it goes into more the definition of what you're considering games. So, I teach flirt workshops, right? And I said that in my bio. And, one of the things about flirting that's really fun, and sometimes people actually define that as gamey, they say,
Right,
oh, I
right,
don't like to play those games. It's not about that. It's being playful. It's having fun and letting people earn you. So, I look at dating that there's actually three phases. Most people talk about relationship phases. I like to talk about dating phases. And in that first phase, what I call courtship,
hmm,
there should be a little bit of cat and mouse chase. There should be a little bit of fun because, look, at the end of the day, we are all cavemen, right? Like men like to do a little pursuing. They want to feel like they earn the woman, right? And we
right,
like to be pursued and be earned. So when there's not a sense of that and you're almost like, so let's use the word nice, when you're just so nice and you don't like pace it out that way,
right,
sometimes you'll get stuck into the friend zone, and that's a whole
right.
other conversation, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, so that's why it's really, really important to just understand what it is. It's not about manipulation or you're, playing games. It's really about having fun, being light, telling stories. I use the metaphor all the time. It's like you're fishing. You're kind of throwing in the bait, you're reeling them in, and that's when it can be more fun and playful. The second phase is what I call just pure dating, right? And that is when you are dating somebody consistently. Maybe you're not committed yet, but then it gets to be a little more, into relationship material. And the third phase is a full blown committed relationship. And I find this is what's really interesting, where some people, will be really strong in one area,
Oh
fall
yeah.
short in another area. So you might be the relationship person and you're really good at it, but then you suck at dating. Right.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
it's understanding that.
it's definitely a three-step series, and I never even thought about it. The system that's involved is first you got to understand how to date, then you have to, I mean, how to go in the technology has changed fucking everything. I mean, it
Oh,
is
right.
amazing. So you got to figure out how to find that person. Then you got to figure out how to date. Then you have to figure out how to have a relationship. Where is there a spot where people tend to gravitate towards any of those three where they're better at? I mean, you just mentioned that some people are really good at, but what's the one that universally people are good at, or is that just any of those things?
It runs the gamuts, but I'll use what we started with, and that is nice people. So, really nice people who tend to be really caring and giving tend to really be good at the relationship stuff, right?
Hmm.
And they prefer it. And so, the beginning phase, the courtship, seems exhausting, gamey, and really something that they just want to skip. But
Yeah,
sometimes,
let me add to that
yeah,
because what's
yeah.
really interesting is like as soon as I get, I've been in a couple, and we'll talk about these. I've been in a couple of challenged relationships, also known as divorces. I've been in a couple of them, and the thing that was the purpose of getting through the purpose of the dating was to get to the relationship for me. I mean, that's what I wanted to get out of that dating zone as quickly as possible. I thought the purpose of dating was to find a relationship, but I have discovered that the purpose of dating sometimes is just dating. So people are like, why don't you just date around? Like when I went from my most recent ex-wife to JJ, so many people had said to me, you just jumped right into another relationship. Why didn't you just give yourself a chance? I'm like, well, isn't that the purpose of, I mean, don't I want another relationship? I am a relationship guy. I love the relationships, but apparently that's not the case.
Because you're
No,
a
I mean,
nice guy. Well, here's the thing. And I'm not a cookie cutter approach coach. And, being that I have been a therapist for so long, I really feel like we all have our own journeys. And, what's connected to the past is connected to the future and the choices we make and the patterns that get created. So what I'm looking at when I'm working with someone is looking at patterns. And so if there's somebody who is like a relationship person,
Right.
who've never had any kind of emancipation for themselves in ways of dating without attachment, and I call it without attachment, and their problem is that they get too attached and they lose their self in relationships, then you better believe my prescription is going to be
Right.
don't get in a relationship. Actually learn how to date without it so that you don't lose yourself and that you're pacing things out and that you're really understanding what works for you. What I find with a lot of relationship oriented people, I don't know if this is the case.
Yeah,
You.
ask me. I'm ready. I'm ready to be. Cut me
Yeah.
open, and I'm on the operating table for you. I'm ready right now. Let's
Well,
go.
I don't want to hurt you.
You won't hurt me. You won't hurt me.
I'll ease into it.
I'm pretty resilient right now. Go ahead and
Okay, yeah.
throw
Well,
anything
and you're
you
in a
want.
great relationship with a great gal who I know and love too. So, the thing is that when you're that caring person, that's usually where your confidence lives too. And so I don't know again if that was true for you, but sometimes with that you don't show up enough for you. You don't
Oh yeah.
express your own needs and thoughts. Was that something that you struggled with?
Yeah, well,
Or?
I found that in my last relationship, and JJ is very very amazing with the support and coaching herself. So she's kind of been my support mechanism. I know that sounds like that might be challenging to have the person that you're having the relationship also be the coach and the support person for you, but I found a lot of what I got confused was that I thought that if my spouse at the time was
Mhm.
happy, I thought that would make me happy. And that's
Yeah.
totally not it. You have got to start with making yourself happy. And I started to realize that I didn't know who I was. I found like I was making decisions more for other people than myself. And I'm not saying that from a standpoint of, oh, I'm such a nice guy. That actually worked against me. And until I discovered that through my relationship with JJ, I never realized that that really was something that I had done probably in every relationship,
Mhm.
even the relationships that I have been in where people thought that I was very self-centered and egotistical about, stuff that was going on. Even those I was looking back and like, oh my God, I totally made those decisions for that person. It doesn't matter to me what they think that reason that I made the decision. I know why I made it. And that's the only thing that's important is what I think happened in those relationships. And I definitely found myself to be a huge people pleaser and somebody that was just trying to make decisions based upon, not even in relationships, romantic relationships, but I discovered all of my family relationships were that way too, which is like, holy shit, I have been living my entire life based upon how I think people will react to my decisions rather than actually how I would react to my decisions first. Like, that's bad. When you do that, that's some bad shit that's going to come up then.
It's so true. And what you're saying, I think so many people struggle with. And you hit a very key point, and that is, we all have ascribed roles growing up. And my guess is somewhere along the line, you ascribed the role as the listener and the caretaker. And maybe that's the way you made peace in your family, or, how it was expressed, or I don't know how you grew up.
Right, right.
Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I mean, a single Jewish mom raising me, even though there was a man living in the house, my stepfather, she was the disciplinarian. She was the one that kind of directed us. So he never really took a fatherly role in my
Oh,
house. So, I was babied as I was growing up, and I still feel, even at 55, I still feel like, well, I am the baby in my family. And at 55, I'm a grown ass man. I should be able to make my own decisions. But I was making decisions, and I love my mom. And if my mom is watching this, I love you, mom, but I was making decisions based upon what I thought my mom was the correct behavior instead of what I thought I wanted to do. And then I just carried that into every relationship that I had. In addition to that, I was carrying the people pleasing gene for whatever that's worth, and I was also carrying the abandonment wound that I experienced from my dad leaving my mom at a very early age. So for me, the two of those things combined, I was totally fucked, Kim. To get it, I mean, totally. I'm like,
well, you
holy
turned
shit.
out okay, but yeah.
Well, on the surface, I
Yeah.
made it look like I was messed up, and not in a
Uh,
deep psychological way, but I was messed up to the point of I was not living, number one, my true self, but I wasn't living for me. I was living for the response of how other people thought. It's not that I cared what they thought. I just cared about the decision itself, and I made all of my decisions based upon what the world would think about me if I made this decision.
Yeah, and that's such a common thing too, especially when you're growing up. And I imagine there was some guilt too, around just, how maybe your mom was feeling and trying to make it okay. And then you had to deal with, dad not being around and all of that. So, there's something in psychology called the familiarity principle. We all go back or default to things that we know and that's familiar with us. So that was just familiar to you, right?
Right,
And so
right.
that's where again, you grew with your confidence, but then you realize, wow, like, who am I? Like, what is it that I want, independent from what would make my mom feel better and, trying to not get somebody to abandon me again.
Okay.
And so, right. And so then you fall into that kind of rabbit hole. So here's my question then. How did you break that pattern for you?
Just realizing it. When you start to
Uh,
realize it, when you start to live as a conscious person rather than an unconscious person, just kind of letting life kind of hit you and you making decisions based upon the old habits and the old tapes that are going through your head. When I started to break those tapes and just say, okay, I'm going to do it just for the sake of being counter what I think everybody else would want me to do. And when you start to make a different habit, now I'm not saying that you want to do that so that it's harmful for people in your life, but you've got to completely take out of the equation what you think anybody would think, and you have to make a decision in a vacuum. And then when you make the decision in the vacuum on your own, you've got to stand by that, and you've got to make sure. Like I remember just this past year, my brother passed away in March,
oh,
and the experience was, while it was extremely heartbreaking for me to watch my brother die, the challenge was that I had people in my family that knew better than I did what I should be doing. And I purposely
mm,
said, I'm going to make all of these decisions based upon what I want. And I'm not going to change my mind. And I did that. And in my mind, I hurt a lot of people in my family. But at the same time, I finally was able to stand my ground and make decisions for myself. And when I was able to
wow.
do that, it really did boost me out of that. Okay, stop making decisions for other people. Look, they still love me. My mom
Mhm.
still loves me. I made decisions that she would not have made, but she feels she still loves me. And I don't think, and whether it hurt my relationship with her or not, I can't live for my mom. I've got to live for me. So
I love that and really like beautiful perspective. Here's the thing, a lot of times when you get caught into that people pleasing thing, it's you're trying to avoid the conflict and you're wanting, people to feel okay,
yeah,
and feel good, so you avoid that. But it's almost like an oxymoron. Actually, you're hurting people more by not
exactly,
doing
exactly.
what you want and expressing that. And then the other thing about that, and it's really interesting, is that all the fears that you have about how other people will react, it's a good thing because then you see who your true friends are, who
Right.
can actually give back to you. So it's a great like detector. And even as you're going out there and dating, show up, express yourself, find your voice because you're going to see who responds to you. And those are your people.
Got it. Got it. I want to ask you a question. And again, you may not have the exact answer, not the one that I'm looking for, but maybe the answer that's out there through your experience with all of these clients that you've had to work with. Number one, is there something called true love? That's number one.
Oh
And
my God.
and secondly, is there really a happily ever after that can be found? And what does that look like? So start with is there really true love out there in the world?
I mean, no pressure, right? With that question.
Well,
I'm supposed to be the omniscient one that has all the answers.
you have an answer to this question. You have the
Like the
experience.
oracle, right? Here's the thing. I think love comes in all different kinds of forms, shapes, sizes. Again, I'm not this cookie cutter approach. And people ask me all the time to define things, to give them numbers, like and how long to do this and that. Look, we all come from different journeys. We all are different ages. We are having relationships in different phases of our lives. Never before, since this era, have there been so many people dating after 40 and finding love again and again and again.
Right.
So it's like, how do you define love when love keeps evolving and shifting? And I think there's different types. I always joke, I feel like we should get married and have a new partner for each decade. I know some people would like kill me for saying that.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. I got my
Think about
20s.
that.
I got my 20s covered, and then I went to so I did get my 20s and my 40s. So I just missed my 30s. And JJ and I
Well,
always
but that's
joke around that
okay.
we're not going to get married. We're just going to incorporate. So-
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. You need that kind of period of time anyway for yourself. So, because if you think about it, like, think about how you were in your 20s and what you were looking for, and how you looked at yourself is so different than how you are now.
Right.
So, like, how can you say that love is the same at 20 than it is at 40? And if people who stay together through all those decades, kudos to you. And I think the love just keeps, kind of shifting and changing as you guys grow together. So, no matter if you're together or you're single out there, I just think it evolves.
Okay. And how about the happily ever after question? Can that actually happen? Can you actually live an entire lifetime? For those that are in our community that haven't experienced relationships like me, where I've gotten out of a couple of them or they've gotten out of me, can you go from your 20s or 30s and go till death do you part and actually have that happily ever after happen to you?
But it depends on what your happily ever after is. I mean, again, we all have our different fairy tales that we read and that we love and know. People who are living in a more remote area in the Midwest who don't have any other experiences except for, growing up with their partner, to them, that's their happily ever after, and they can't
Right.
foresee anything else. But people maybe who live in more metropolitan areas where there's more movement, more experiences, more people, maybe that's not their happily ever after, that they want something more for themselves. So again, it's like, you do you. I always say that, you do you. And it's more about your own happiness and your own self-love that will fulfill that relationship later on.
Nice. All right. Well, take me through a little bit of your life. I mean, put down the relationship coach for just a second and talk
Oh,
about
I
your
love
life
it.
and what got you into that to begin with. And then what have you found? Because I don't think you're married. You're not married, are you?
No, I had the same journey as you. That's what I said. And actually, because I kind of hinted in the beginning, this is why I got into what I do. I don't know how long we have, because I have like long version and a short version. But, before this, I practiced as a therapist. I lived in Chicago for a really long time. And gosh, I was married for about 10 years and everything was going as planned. I had that Midwest thing going on. I had the picket fence and the kids. I still have the kids, but I don't have the husband any longer, right? And everything was great. And then we all pick up and we move here to La La Land. And I always joke, we do what all the other people here did. They're like, oh yeah, everyone gets divorced here. Let's do it.
Oh boy.
Obviously, there are other issues, right? Jokes aside. And really, that's where the record stopped. And everything that I thought I knew also went out the window, as a therapist, as something that I should know better kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing that, in my journey and my evolution that I learned is that I used to believe and I used to practice from the inside out. I know most experts out there do. But what I'm about to tell you actually changed the course of what I teach today and what I believe. And
It all started with a boob job.
you're not that far off, to be honest.
Okay.
Although I never
joking.
did get the boob. I contemplated it, but I didn't actually do that. But I did get a new dress, and this is where it started. So what happened
It's close.
is close. Yeah, I didn't fill it out as probably I should. But anyway, we digress. What happened is that I remember really being depressed. I was kind of going down this dark path and my clothes reflected it. I mean, if you saw me back then, Doug, you would not recognize me. I mean, I had these like big oversized clothes. I still had the nursing bras on, for God's sakes. And I was not nursing any longer.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, can you picture this? And
Yes.
so I remember waking up, looking in the mirror. I was horrified what I saw. And I just remember, like, it's like all the pieces in the mirror just like shattered to the ground. I said, what have I become? Like, I cannot believe this is my life, and who's going to be attracted to me? So just as I was about to go back to bed and wallow in my sorrows, and here's the thing, up until that point, again, I did all this work on myself. I went through counseling. I had a great support system. For God's sakes, I was a therapist. I should know better. I still cannot get out of my own way. So what does a girl do when nothing fits her and I look like crap? I'm like, I need to go shopping. So I go shopping and I'm pulling all the same clothes again, black, 3 times too big for me.
Wow.
And it was my cocoon. It was my safety blanket. I was hiding. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know until later. That's really what I was doing. And this personal shopper came up to me and she said, ma'am, I've been watching you and I thought maybe you could try this on. And she holds up this red dress that looked like 3 sizes too small. And I said, "That's really sweet of you, but that's really not my size. And that's so not my color." She said,
Yeah.
"Honey, that is your size. That is your color. Try it on." Just like that. It was like she hit me over the head with that
It
red
was like
dress.
what is the expression? The teacher will appear when the student is ready. Maybe you were ready. Maybe you're a little resistant, but
Oh
maybe
my
ready
God,
at the time.
totally. I was just gonna say that, like, sometimes you get messages from people and you can't hear it. I heard it. It was
Right.
like she said it in a megaphone at that point,
Right.
right? And I'm
Right.
like, "She's right. She's right. I gotta try on that red dress." So I slip it on and I twirl around like Cinderella and I look in the mirror and I just remember freezing, looking at myself. It's like all those pieces on the ground just came together in an instant. I was like,
Right.
"I'm a princess." I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh my gosh." Like
Felt good.
it felt so good. And I realized there was this symbiotic relationship between the outer and the inner in confidence because I bought that dress that day as
Oh
almost
yeah.
a costume. And I walked
Right.
out into the world and all this magic started happening. But here's the thing, Doug, is that I realized that I was scared and I didn't even want the attention before. And I had to really get comfortable wanting that. So as I kept going down my yellow brick road, I pivoted to the path that had more light and I collected my tools and I dated. I dated up a storm. I practiced flirting. I was a fish out of water. I'm like, who could love like a frumpy mom? And that was kind of my journey. And so for me, having those personal experiences and going through the muck, I really get it. I've been there. I've done that. I mean, and so when I teach this stuff, I know where people are. And now I'm happy to say I'm in a great relationship, long-term relationship, and it's wonderful. So
So when did you make the transition from being someone that was I don't want to say just a therapist, but or somebody that was a therapist to
yeah.
somebody that actually went into the business of dating coach, romance, flirting? I got one of your emails one time, and you're like, "Are you flirting with me?" I saw it as the subject or something like that, and I'm like, "Holy shit, I wasn't flirting with." And I'm like, I open it up, and I'm like, "Oh, it's just Kim's email blast." I didn't realize
I
that. So
gotcha.
you
Yeah.
did. You totally got me to open that email. So okay, I get it. So when
Yeah.
did you realize that other stuff was going to be a part of your business?
It was really, it kind of happened as I was going down all these experiences. One of the things that I tell people all the time, I really built my business based on relationships and
Mhm.
networking. I did not know anything about the back end. I didn't know what I was doing to start my own business. And here's the thing, and I was the nice girl, like you were the nice guy. I was the nice girl. I'm like, people are
I
going
don't
to
know,
pay.
Kim. You've said 2 words in the last 3 sentences. You said going down and back end. So hold on a minute. You're going down a bad path right
I
now.
didn't know that this kind of show, Doug. Oh my God. Well, now we can go there. Yeah. No, so no, what I didn't understand is my value. I didn't understand that I could actually charge people money to help them because I was just a therapist. And so this is a funny story. First of all, I hired an LA image consultant to,
Nice.
just shadow her, and because there was no program, I had to figure it out on my own. I did a correspondence course over in the UK called Style Coaching, and it mirrored like, the styling piece and also brought together the coaching piece. I'm like, ooh, this makes sense. And I
Right.
was obsessed with that show, What Not to Wear. On top of it, I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
ooh, I want to make over people. This feels good. And I was making over myself at the same time. Then I was introduced to one of the top LA dating coaches, and someone said, "You got to meet this guy because he's going out and doing boot camps for men and teaching men how to approach women." I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that'd be fun. Like actually coaching in the field.
That sounds like that
That's
was Jordan.
interesting.
Was that Jordan or is that somebody
It was
else?
not Jordan.
Okay.
It was David Wygant. I don't know if you've heard of
No, don't know
him.
David.
Yeah, he's a veteran, and he was great because I was trying to get a hold of him for the longest time, and we finally connected. And he's like, "All right, just show up at the Coral Tree Cafe, and we'll meet." Well, unbeknownst to me, he has me meet him and 20 guys at the boot camp. It was my first thing. And so he looks at me up and down. He goes, "You must be Seltzer." I'm like, "You must be Wygant." And he goes, "All right, who's going in Kim's car? Let's go." And that's where it all started. And I
Wow.
became kind of his little like female assistant and helped these guys. And what I realized, it was so beautiful to see these guys really wanting to better themselves. It wasn't just about approaching women.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of group therapy was happening there, and then just the way that they showed up. And so I'm like, this makes sense. And here's the thing. And I knew from my own journey, is that I was over the talking. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
how many times do we get caught up in, analysis paralysis?
Yeah.
And it really frustrated me as a therapist because people would recognize things, they'd be in their head about it, but then they wouldn't do anything about it. So I'm like, this is putting people into action. And I knew that about myself, wearing the red dress out and about and actually shifting in my body and all that. So that's what really kind of thrusted me into doing this. And then I started doing it on my own and with women and men alike, and teaching people how to flirt, how to interact with the world, and also socialize and carry on conversations so that it's more connected and heartfelt.
All right, let's talk about the business of your business for a second. Now, you
Yeah,
have a bunch of different buckets. So share with
right.
me, like, proportionally, what buckets are being filled. Like, so you have a counseling bucket, you have a coaching bucket, you have a boot camp bucket. Where do you find, from a business perspective, most of your buckets are getting filled?
That's a really good question. Actually, people usually walk through the door. There's three doorways people walk through. The first one is the style piece, right? So either people will want just a makeover, just pure styling. Maybe it's rebranding. I work with a lot of business people, helping them with their body language, first impressions, that kind of thing. And so that's the outside. So what I forgot to tell you about my story, my philosophy, is now I work from the outside in. So I always start there, no matter
Yeah,
what people come to me
got
to.
it. Got
I
it.
do virtual makeovers. I'll go shopping with people. So I work with people all over the world, in these 1 hour sessions, or people will fly to me and I'll go shopping with them. The second doorway is what I call, really just raising people's emotional and social intelligence
I
and
love
helping
that.
them with their dating plan and, really getting a handle on who they are, both inside and out. And so the whole dating is like one pillar, I guess. But
Hmm.
that's different for everyone. Like, sometimes people are like, I'm good with my style. I know I look good. It's just I keep, attracting unavailable men. I'm like, okay. So it's really, that's why the therapist in me really likes to understand where people come from. And then I almost make like a prescription of what I think they need. And sometimes people think they look great and they look like crap, and then I'm like, so I'll have people send me pictures. And it was really funny. This woman, she hired me and she's like, no, Kim, I'm good. I have like really stylish clothes and
Oh
it's
boy.
not anything that I need help with. I just need to know how to like approach men and feel good and confident with dating. And so I'm like, great. So she actually was able to do an intensive with me, and she flew here and she shows up, I kid you not, in this like beige outfit. And she has this black shawl wrapped around her, like
Oh, not
like a
good.
total shield, and no makeup on. But it was expensive clothes, I'll give her that. But it was not serving her whatsoever, and she was literally like blocking guys from the way she was wearing her clothes. I said, look, I will help you, but we cannot do a single thing until we take care of this. And that is how you're putting yourself out there, right?
I was going to say,
So
the challenge is, for me, just from a fashion perspective, is that I'm not comfortable in anything. It's like I'm
uh,
comfortable with me as a person. Like, I feel like, okay, I'm an okay looking guy, and I'm okay with fashion. But when I go out and I'm wearing like a button down shirt and a nice shirt, and I'm wearing slacks, or I'm wearing pants that look kind of nice, and shoes, I'm like, all of those things, I'm like, I don't really love a button down. I don't really love to wear dressier pants, and I don't really love to wear neat and stylish shoes, because not all of them are like, if you could put them in and it could feel like I'm feeling right now with my North Face pullover, my $12 t-shirt, and my $25 pants shorts that I'm wearing right now. I'm not wearing any shoes. I love to wear flip-flops. I love Southern California for that. Don't have to put shoes on anytime ever. But it's like, outside of that, I'm not comfortable. So is there something to be said about like a guy like me that just wants to be comfortable always, but I don't care what people think about how I look?
Okay, you and 100% of men. So this is the
Right.
really so I love like looking at the differences in the way that men shop and women shop and style. So most men, they look at three things when it comes to their style: what's efficient, what's effective, and what's comfortable.
Hmm.
And I love shopping with men. I think you guys are so much easier than women, to be honest, because women, oh my God, we have so many more body image issues, and we don't like the way our arm looks, or like there's just a lot going on.
Right. Right. I
And
got
men,
it.
I find, are a little more simplistic. But in terms of the comfort, just to address that, it doesn't mean like that you have to wear something sloppy or out of style to be comfortable. But
Right.
half the battle is knowing, first of all, the fabrics that feel good on you. So that's A. B,
Stretchy, but
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
okay with tight as long as it's stretchy. Like I loved Levi's jeans.
Yes.
I got tons of them in my closet. I'm staring right at the jeans that I have. But I'll tell you, if I'm at my office desk and I'm sitting here and I'm wearing jeans and I sit down, I'm uncomfortable because it's
Yeah.
like no matter how baggy they are, if I stand up and they're baggy, they look like shit. So I'd much rather wear, some of my Hurley pants, my shorts, which are stylish shorts. But it's like, oh God, those shorts again. I like have 4 pairs of these in my closet because I love them.
Well, and you don't have to get rid of them. Look, there's a time and place for everything. I mean, when I teach, when I style somebody, I always talk about the difference between, first of all, fashion and style. So
Yeah.
style is everlasting and fashion comes and goes. Those are like
Right.
trendy stuff. And, you also have to know your body type. So I teach people about what looks good on their body, but also understanding what brands work for you too. So,
Yeah.
there's different, brands that fit different body type that will also go into like the whole comfort thing that you're talking about. Like, for instance, maybe the Levi's aren't exactly like, they look great and you can wear them maybe when you're going out, but to sit for a long time and podcast in them, why would you have
It's
to? Like, you
literally, I
could.
walk into my office, I drop my pants, I put on my shorts, and I sit down at my desk. And when JJ walks into the house, or if she's out
Yeah.
at appointments or anything, I'm I'm wearing the same thing I've been wearing for the last 2 weeks. I changed my t-shirt, but it's the same stuff. It's like I
I
wash
feel
these.
like you should show everybody since we're on camera, but I won't make you.
Well,
Now you
wait a
got
minute.
everyone
I
curious.
don't know if I can back up. Hold on. I just jump.
Wait, let's see.
I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
show.
but you still look normal.
Hold on.
You
Hold on.
can't
I'll pull a
tell.
pair out of my closet. Hold on a second. Okay,
I
so
feel
it's like
okay.
I have
Oh,
these. These are
yeah.
literally Hurley pants. I mean, they're a good brand.
Yep.
They're like a stretchy kind of material. They're really ultra comfortable for me. And I'm like, okay, well these work for me. And right below it, I have my Adidas tracksuit. It's like,
Oh my God, hilarious. I think
but
we might have to have another like session where you're modeling all these things.
you are welcome to come into my closet. And I don't know what I did to my computer here. Hold
Do you
on.
want an intervention? I could totally come.
You could get, you know
Yeah.
what? You are welcome to come in and do an intervention in my closet. The issue is like, I have no clothes and I
Oh,
don't mind shopping. I love shopping, but I need to have something that I can wear here at my house that's comfortable. And then when I leave the house, yeah, I would love to be stylish and fashionable and do that. But I don't even care enough about it. And that's probably horrible because then I'm falling prey to, well, what are people like? Should I care what JJ thinks about my wardrobe? Should I care? Okay, I agree. I agree. I agree. Should we both care about what we think about each other's wardrobes?
let me ask you that actually. Do you care like how JJ looks and do you admire when she does kind of dress up a little bit?
Oh my
Like,
gosh, when she gets dressed up, yeah, I don't actually want to leave the house when she gets dressed up, and that's great.
okay,
But I want her to be
right.
comfortable the rest of the time. Like, okay, so she's a trainer, so she'll wear a t-shirt and workout pants and whatever her pullover and all that, and that's totally cool. She's adorable no matter what she wears, and I think she's beautiful. But when she puts on like eye makeup and she puts on makeup itself and when she washes her hair and she looks really good, like that's a whole different JJ. And it's like there's different vibes that go through me when I see
Yes.
that JJ. The other side of JJ, I love the fact that she's able to be casual. Like my last wife was would spend an hour in the bathroom every morning to put her face on and all of her makeup. Totally cool. Loved her. She was always dressed up. She was just as beautiful when she wasn't made up though as when she was made up. And when JJ gets dressed up, it's like, holy shit, she's really hot, and I love that. But I would take it no matter how she presents herself to me. I don't know.
Well, actually, there's a lot of different issues with what you're
Going on. There's a
saying.
lot of going on there. I know
I'll try to break it down, but here's the thing, when we're talking about first impressions, okay? So like you're just going out there and dating or networking, because I straddle both the love and the business
Oh
world and
yeah,
helping
yeah,
people,
yeah. I hear where you're
right?
going.
So
Right.
Yeah. Okay, now it used to be 30 seconds to make a first impression. Do you know it's 7 seconds
7 seconds, I was going to say. And now
Seven.
when I go to do stuff like that, I'm willing to be uncomfortable for that meeting. It's like when I go to meet
There
clients,
you
I'm not
go.
going to wear,
Right.
I'm going to be styling. I'm not going to be fashion. I'm not David from Schitt's Creek or whatever the name of the show. I don't know if you saw him, but he's always dressed, the right way for fashion. I'd prefer to be stylish than fashionable.
So it's like really kind of taking a look at different parts of your life and how you show up, and you should have a variety in your wardrobe, and there are different outfits for different occasions. So if we're addressing the dating world and the networking world, yes, you always want to make yourself look and feel your best so that you attract what you want. And
Right.
within those first impressions, people are making judgments and assumptions based on two things: the wardrobe that you have on, and the attitude.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
I see that.
So, 93% of communication is nonverbal. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to pay attention to this, and it's not changing who you are. I want to make that really clear. It's about marketing yourself in a way so that a person
Yeah,
gets to know who you are.
totally get that. You've got to let them get beyond the 7 seconds, and they won't get beyond the seven
Totally.
seconds if you look like a schlep. When you go and see them. I wouldn't wear like baggy pants, oversized T-shirt. It's funny,
Oh,
but
thank God. That would not be a good look for you, Doug.
that would not be good. I'm
In your
6'4",
small frame. Yeah.
6'4", 175 pounds. It would be like, okay, this guy looks like he is coming out of a concentration camp. We've got to fix that
Oh,
image
God.
right now. I've got to make sure that is working for him.
By the way, that's like one of the biggest mistakes I see guys make, is that they wear things too big, and they'll wear like their pants really ginormous, or they'll still wear like the pleated pants. That's something that I can get rid of right away.
No
That'll make a
pleats in
huge
my
difference.
closet. No pleats. There's no pleats in my closet. I literally have probably
Yay.
10 pairs of jeans, 2 pairs of dressier pants. I think I have a blazer. I might have 5 or 6 button downs, and I have 47 T-shirts and 4 pairs of shorts.
Oh, okay. So this is good. Okay. But I just want to address the second issue that you brought up. And that is when you're with someone for a long time. And, I was just talking to someone the other day about dating your partner still. And it's important, like what attracted us in the beginning. It's important to keep
Yeah.
that going, because I think in relationships, we all fall into a state of, being comfortable and complacent. And that's all great. And that's a beautiful part of a relationship. But it's nice to dress up for each other
Yeah,
every
I
now
agree.
and
And
have
I know
variety,
those
right?
things that are in my closet, whether it's a sweater and a dark sweater and a solid shirt. And I've asked her a number of times, what is it that is in here that you kind of like that I wear? Because I really don't wear my clothes for me. I really wear my clothes for her. I want
Aw.
her to, because there are so many. I mean, it's not that I have a lot of variety in my closet, but I know the stuff that I look better in, especially when we go out. But I also know the times when I really just want to be really ultra comfortable. Do I have to wear my adulting clothes? I don't want to wear my adulting clothes today. And so we do a good job
Right,
with
right. Yeah. No,
that.
it's true. And for women too, and I tell women all the time, it's like, you can be comfortable and cute all at the same time. You
Yeah.
can put on a pair of stretchy yoga pants and look natural and put your hair in a ponytail or a little hat, and guys will love that too.
Just let me say, thank
Right?
God for yoga pants, people. Thank God for yoga
Right.
pants. It's
Guys
like a
love
gift.
that
It's a
too.
gift
Mhm.
from God. When JJ wears yoga pants, I do not even want to leave my freaking house. It's
Right?
like,
Because you see her bod, right? Like,
yep.
but the yoga pants have got to fit you.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the
Okay.
big, like, wearing them 3
No.
sizes too big, or, the
No.
kind that don't fit your body.
No.
So you want to make sure that still you're wearing things that fit your body. And that's probably the biggest focus that I have when I'm working with people in clothes. There's different body types. I actually have a free guide I'll give your people, where like women have 5 body types and men have 3. And it's like, once you figure out what your body type is, what clothes, fit your body and what clothes to stay away from.
Well, Kim, you are always welcome to come back and provide relationship and dating advice and fashion advice for
Aw.
anybody that it's in my community. This has been such a fun, like Debbie said before you guys hit the record button, or after you hit it, it was like an hour and a half later you're recording. And I can easily see this conversation going on forever, but we have got to do your show now. So
I
why
know.
don't we
I know.
we'll call this quits, and we'll invite you back if you would be kind enough to say yes to another episode on the Nice Guys on Business. We'd love to have you back on the
Oh,
show.
I would love to come back. Thank you.
So Kim, tell our community how they can get back in touch with you. And we are on Facebook Live still, believe it or not. So how can they get back in touch with you if they
Nice.
want to get information about your company or the services you provide?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest is to go to my website, kimmyseltzer.com, KIMMY seltzer.com, and you can get all my information on there. You can email me. I'm all over social media, and also have my own podcast, as you said, Charisma Quotient, and you can find me on iTunes and all the other outlets.
Awesome. Well, Kim, we'll get you back on the show real soon. Thanks for being here, and thanks for sharing your wisdom for sure with my my community. Thanks for being on the Nice
Thank
Guys on Business
you.
podcast. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice or the power of a good date with a happy companion. Special thanks to Kim Seltzer. All of her information, including access to her website, her podcast, all of that fun stuff will be right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the Nice Guys. Well, there's always money in the banana stand.